Hey, hope you guys are having a good day or night wherever you're currently watching this. So today's video, sorry it took so long to make this one, is going to be about the dragon VHAGAR. So let's just get straight into the video. So VHAGAR hatched from a dragon egg on Dragonstone during the Century of Blood. She was named after a god of the Valyrian freehold. At some point, VHAGAR was claimed by Visenya Targaryen. Visenya first rode VHAGAR, demonstrating that she was a dragon rider, sometime before she married her brother, Aegon. After Aegon landed on Westeros and began his conquests, Visenya flew VHAGAR to Stokeworth, where crossbowmen loosed bolts until the dragon set the roofs of the castle ablaze. Following Aegon's first coronation, Visenya, upon VHAGAR, accompanied the Targaryen fleet, commanded by Daemon Valerian, to take Goldtown. In the battle in the waters off Goldtown, the Arryn fleet defeated the Targaryen fleet, sinking 1/3 of the ships and capturing nearly as many. Then, Visenya descended and burned the ships of the Arryn fleet. Visenya then flew to Crackclaw Point with VHAGAR, to accept many pledges of fealty from the local lords. She then flew VHAGAR to Stony Sept to link up with her siblings, their dragons, and Aegon's army. They advanced south, where all three dragons took part in the decisive Field of Fire, the only battle in which all three of the Targaryen dragons took to the sky at the same time during Aegon's conquest. Together, VHAGAR, Meraxes, and Balerion killed 4,000 men, burning them alive. King Mern, Gardener, died, and with him House Gardener. The army was broken, and House Targaryen was victorious. Visenya next flew VHAGAR to the Trident in the Riverlands, where she met with her brother and sister and their dragons, to face King in the North, Torrhen Stark. Brandon Snow, the bastard brother of Torrhen, offered to speak in the Targaryen camp at night to slay the dragons, but the Northern King refused the attempt, and instead sent his brother as an envoy, eventually bending the knee to the Targaryens. Afterwards, Visenya flew VHAGAR back to the Vale, where she landed with her dragon in the inner courtyard of the Eyrie. When Dowager Queen Shara Arryn reached the courtyard, she found her young son, King Ronal Arryn, sitting in Visenya's knee, staring with wonder at VHAGAR. The young king begged his mother for a ride on VHAGAR's back. Shara bent her knee and surrendered, and Ronal rode on VHAGAR thrice about the summit of the giant's lance. During the First Dornish War, following the deaths of Rhaenys and Meraxes in 10 AC at Hellholt in Dorne, Visenya and Aegon burned every Dornish stronghold at least once, during a 2-year period known as Dragon's Wrath. The Dornish tell a tale that the Targaryens refused to attack Sunspear because they were afraid that Princess Miriam Martell had pushed a device from Lys to slay VHAGAR and Balerion. But Archmaester Timothy suggests that the Targaryens intended to turn the other Dornish houses against the Martells. When King Aegon died in 37 AC, VHAGAR supplied the flames of light for the funeral pyre. In 41 AC, when King Aenys named his eldest son and heir Prince Aegon, the Prince of Dragonstone, at his wedding, Visenya angrily left for Dragonstone. It was said that the moon turned as red as blood when VHAGAR passed it. Later that year, when King Aenys arrived at Dragonstone, fleeing the first rebels in the Faith Militant Uprising, Visenya asked him to grant her leave to take VHAGAR and burn the Starry Sept in Old Town. Aenys refused. When the king died in 42 AC, Visenya left Dragonstone within an hour of his death, and flew to Pentos, where her son, Migor, lived in exile. After Migor had claimed the crown on Dragonstone, Visenya accompanied him upon VHAGAR and crossed Blackwater Bay to King's Landing. The return of both VHAGAR and Balerion to King's Landing set off riots in the city. Prior to Migor's wedding to Tyanna of the Tower, Visenya flew upon VHAGAR to Driftmark to convince Alyssa Valerion to appear at the wedding. When the Faith Militant continued to resist Migor's reign, even after the losses they suffered at the Battle of Stoneridge and the battle at the Great Fork of the Blackwater, Visenya mounted VHAGAR and burned the seats of House Blaintree, House Terrick, House Deddings, House Leicester, and House Wayne in the Riverlands within a single night. Maegor flew Valyrian to the Westerlands, burning the seats of House Broom, House Doggett, House Falwell, House Lorch, House Myatt, and other pious lords who had defied his royal summons. In 43 AC, Maegor and Visenya turned towards Old Town, threatening to incinerate the Starry Sept in response to the High Septon's condemnation of his polyamorous marriages. Only the mysterious death of the High Septon, which allowed Martin Hightower to open his gates before Balerion and VHAGAR, saved the city from Dragonfire. Visenya died on Dragonstone in 44 AC, leaving VHAGAR without a rider. VHAGAR remained unridden for 29 years after Visenya's death, spending much of that time on Dragonstone, and later taking residence in the Dragon Pit in King's Landing. It was in 73 AC that Prince Balon the Brave, after achieving knighthood, set out to follow his brother, Prince Aemon, and become a dragon rider, claiming VHAGAR. VHAGAR, along with Caraxes and Vermithor, burned the Dornish fleet that attempted to invade the Stormlands during the Fourth Dornish War in 83 AC. After the death of Balerion of old age in 94 AC, VHAGAR became the last of the 3 Targaryen dragons who had fought in the conquest. VHAGAR began riderless again when Prince Balon passed away in 101 AC. VHAGAR's next known rider was Lady Helaena Velaryon, who had become a dragon rider before the age of 12. According to the Maester at Driftmark, the seat of House Velaryon, Helaena loved to fly. When Helaena wed Prince Daemon Targaryen in 115 AC, they flew upon their dragons across the Narrow Sea to Pentos, Volantis, Kor, and Norvos. Everywhere they went, huge crowds came to catch a glimpse of VHAGAR and Caraxes, Daemon's dragon. After Helaena gave birth in 116 AC, Daemon brought his own dragon and VHAGAR back to Westeros. Helaena and Daemon grew close with Daemon's niece, Rhaenyra Targaryen, and the 3 often flew together upon their dragons, VHAGAR, Caraxes, and Syrax. Helaena died early in 120 AC. It is said that Helaena attempted to reach VHAGAR in her final hour as to fly one last time, but she did not have the strength. Following Helaena's funeral on Driftmark, the 10-year-old Prince Aemon Targaryen claimed VHAGAR as his own dragon. By 129 AC, VHAGAR had grown nearly as big as Balerion during Aegon's conquest, and became the largest living dragon of her time. Prince Aemon flew on VHAGAR to Storm's End, so they could win the support of Lord Boros Baratheon for King Aegon II. There, Aemon met with Prince Lucerys Velaryon at Storm's End, hoping to gain support for his mother, Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen. Aemon was forbidden from attacking Lucerys, while both were in Boros Castle, but were allowed to follow him inside. After Lucerys rose into the sky on his dragon, Erex, Aemon mounted VHAGAR and followed the young prince. The 2 dragons fought during the Great Storm over Shipbreaker Bay, and VHAGAR quickly overcame Erex, whose severed head would wash ashore days later, along with the corpse of Lucerys. Aemon would continue to fly VHAGAR in battle during the civil war between King Aegon II and Queen Rhaenyra. During the battle at Rook's Rest, VHAGAR and Aemon and King Aegon and Sunfire ambushed the dragon Meleys and her rider, Princess Rhaenys Targaryen. Meleys was an old and large dragon, and might have stood a chance against VHAGAR alone, but died from the combined assault. VHAGAR was the only dragon who left the battle reasonably unharmed. The battle against Meleys left Aegon II severely injured, leaving him incapable of rule, and Prince Aemon was appointed regent. Aemon decided that the main threat in the war was Prince Daemon Targaryen, who was massing armies at Harrenhal. Aemon took VHAGAR and most of the Green forces from King's Landing north to attack Harrenhal, leaving King's Landing with very little defense. When Aemon and VHAGAR arrived at Harrenhal, they found the castle undefended and empty, as Daemon had left some time before to attack King's Landing, after having lured Aemon and VHAGAR away from the capital. After the fall of King's Landing, Prince Aemon and Hand of the King Criston Cole no longer agreed on how to proceed during the war. Aemon took VHAGAR on a one-man war of revenge. They burned much of the Riverlands, starting with every wooden structure in Harrenhal. VHAGAR caused more destruction than an entire army, and severely harmed Rhaenyra's supporters in the Riverlands, though Aemon's decision to abandon the army under Criston proved to a strategic blunder. Without VHAGAR to protect them, Cole's army in the east was later surrounded and destroyed in the Butcher's Ball, leaving the east wide open to Rhaenyra's forces. Aemon and VHAGAR continued the destruction of the Riverlands, and they became the terror of the Trident. Daemon Targaryen on his dragon Caraxes and the dragon seed Nettles on the dragon Sheepstealer were sent to hunt Aemon. They were allowed to use Maidenpool as their base, as Lord Manfred Mouton feared an attack from VHAGAR, and found himself safer this way. Daemon and Nettles unsuccessfully searched together for VHAGAR, who continued to terrorize the Riverlands. After the First Battle of Tumbleton, Daemon had word sent out that he and Caraxes would await Aemon and VHAGAR at Harrenhal. On the 14th day of Daemon's vigil at Harrenhal, VHAGAR appeared in the sky, carrying Aemon and his lover Alys Rivers. Aemon left Alys in the castle's yard, and both dragons and their riders launched into the air. All four were killed in the ensuing battle above the God's Eye, when the dragons locked together. Caraxes' jaws closed around VHAGAR's neck, Daemon left from his dragon to VHAGAR to put Dark Sister through Aemon's eye, and the dragons crashed into the lake. Some years after the end of the dance, VHAGAR's body was recovered, when Aemon's armored bones still chained to the saddle. VHAGAR was 181 years old when she died, on the 22nd day of the 5th moon of 130 AC. After her death, along with 18 other Targaryen dragon skulls, VHAGAR's skull hung on a wall in the Red Keep's throne room. After Robert's rebellion, King Robert I Baratheon had the skulls removed from the throne room and stored them in a dark cellar. In 284 AC, when Tyrion Lannister visited the capital for the wedding of his sister Cersei to Robert, he observed the skulls in the cellar, including VHAGAR's. In 298 AC, Arya Stark encountered the dragon skulls while passing through the Red Keep cellars. And finally, in 299 AC, Daenerys Targaryen had the 3 ships sent to her by Illyrio Mopatis named VHAGAR, Meraxes, and Balerion to tell the world that the dragons had returned. So what do you guys think of VHAGAR, and who should I cover next? I was personally thinking of covering Balerion the Black Dread, but I might hold off on that for now. But please let me know in the comments down below. Have a great day or night wherever you're currently watching this, and I'll see you in the next video.